You know that moment you feel so down and shitty and people ask, what are you complaining about? And you think, yeah, what am I complaining about? If you feel like you are practicing for a real life that starts later, then let me tell you, life has no dress rehearsal. You are already on stage. Most people are kind of living a draft version of their life and they don't even know it. They are following invisible rules written by someone else. And I too spent 35 years and 2 psychotherapies until I realized that almost nothing that I believed about my life was actually mine. I used to think, I am making my own choices. I know what kind of person I am. The one with a psychology degree, the one with the coaching business, the one who never cries, the one who is always happy and colorful. I looked like someone who has her life together, but in the end I got so caught up in this role that I didn't even know what I actually wanted my life to look like. These are the invisible rules, and I also followed them perfectly, not knowing that I did, while deep down hoping that the fun part of life is going to start soon, no? Ever since I was 15, whenever we did a group project and you were in my group, you knew this will be a performance. My French class, everybody had to do a presentation on a region of France, and I strapped a broomstick on my shoulders and put a huge sheet with a map of Burgundy on it, and I handed out Dijon Moutard and Les Baguettes while talking about La Bourgogne. Or in my biology major, I did a presentation on swamps. So I dressed up as a field researcher, went into a swamp in northern Germany and filmed a small documentary there. Or this.
Buongiorno e benvenuto alla bella Italia. Mi chiamo Isabella e vivo all'Italia. Io sono il gemello di Martina.
A mini Italian language course that I filmed for a school trip to Italy. And I loved it. Everything related to speaking, role-playing, performing, filming. And I was good at it. And I was also good at studying. But there was a part of me that thought, if I only were bad at studying, having only bad grades, if there were nobody who expected anything serious of me, then maybe I could have applied to an acting school, maybe even get a scholarship and work my way up to a small local theater. As if. Because if you have the best grades in school, wanting to become a brain researcher makes so much more sense, right? It sounds impressive. Your mother will feel like migrating to Germany was worth it. Your grandmother, who was a teacher, will also be proud. And being creative can kind of remain a hobby if you need to. So I went the brain route. I studied psychology, studied neuroscience, decided against a PhD, then went into neuromarketing to get work experience, quit that too, and then became a career coach. I spent years helping other people discover their purpose, find their strengths, find a career that actually fits them. Oh, the irony when I asked my clients, what did you love doing when you were a child that you just stopped? Dun, dun, dun. Then YouTube happened, social media happened, and this would have been the chance to pick up the camera and start playing again. But my boyfriend at the time thought, it was cringe. Why are people always filming stuff? Most of them are bad at it anyway. I'm so glad that you are not doing this shit. So I believed him. For 9 years, I took millions of photos when we were traveling and going on adventures, but I never filmed anything. Well, gentle ladies, gentlemen, and everyone in between, if someone in your life is telling you that the thing that makes you come alive is embarrassing, they are not protecting you. They are protecting themselves. And maybe they are afraid to lose control over you. So I eventually quit that boyfriend too, and I quit our marriage plans. And some years later, here I am, finally playing again, acting silly, and talking about topics that I studied and that I lived through. But I don't entertain these what if I started earlier thoughts. Because this argument, if I had started earlier, then everything would be better now. That's the same trap like when I'm ready, then I start. Both of them rob you of right now. One looks backwards, one looks forward. Both are in the gap. And nothing is here in the present. But you don't live in your past or in your future. You are living right here. That's the real thing. And the career wasn't the only thing that I did according to some rules, thinking I'm doing everything right. You still with me? Good, because the next part is what changed everything for me visibly. I had an eating disorder from the time I was a teenager through most of my 20s. And I could tell you about the magazines with the diet and the celebrity gossip about who got fat or Germany's next top model, Victoria's Secret models and that whole era. But the most vivid memory that I have is my mother. I'm 14, sitting on my bed and reading a Stephen King book. She is standing in the bedroom and squeezing herself into a pair of skinny jeans, holding her breath while she tries to close it, belly sucked in. I am so disgusting. I hate myself. I got so fat since I'm in Germany. She barely ate. I was the one packing my school lunch. I was always eating alone in my room until I also stopped eating altogether and started throwing away my food. In my 20s, I then discovered strong is the new skinny, but really it wasn't. Yeah, you are training in the gym, counting macros, taking all these supplements, but in reality, it's just, please be skinny and strong. And you know, my whole life, I was never overweight. I was never underweight. I was just punishing my body for having a shape that I cannot control while thinking that this restriction is the biggest control that I have in my life. And what I hated the most was that I always looked kind of puffy, kind of swollen, no matter how much I trained or how much I starved. I felt like my body was betraying me. It just didn't want to cooperate. And it took me years of therapy to understand why. When I was 6, there was an experience with SA with an older boy. And this experience shaped all my relationships with boys and men that followed afterwards. I learned that I wasn't punishing my body for how it looked. I was subconsciously attacking it for how others, men, saw it, what it attracted. And what does a living being do when it is attacked? It defends itself. When it has no weapons, it builds armor. That fat that I hated my whole life was a protective layer. My body was trying to keep me safe from my own hate, from feeling too much, from being too visible, too touchable, too exposed. Your brain and your body, they don't care if you are happy or skinny. They care that you survive. They built an armor to shield you from what is hurting you. And I worked on all of this, the eating disorder, the abuse, my relationships with men, through 2 psychotherapies over 7 years and classes on sex therapy, on healthy relationships, healthy female sensuality. And slowly, just some years ago, the armor dropped. I don't know if I lost weight because I don't weigh myself, but my whole body visibly changed its shape. There was no diet or workout plan. There was just healing what is beneath it. After I spent 20 years for attacking my body, for defending me, I wish I had known this before. I wish my mother had known this. And these invisible rules, skinny, strongy, blah, 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 they don't stop at your body. You see it all over social media for everybody. Nowadays, some people say it doesn't matter how you look, while others say pretty privilege is real, look maxing is in, glow up in 90 days. And I say it does matter. It does matter how you look, but the only person it matters to is you. You. But that is so easy to say because there is so much more under it. You know, I always loved dressing up. I thought I had the role of the person who looks colorful, wears fun clothes. But little did I know how much I really constrained myself. You know, when you're in Germany, a little colorful, you are kind of one of the weird ones. But when I was in Japan for the first time in my early 20s, my dream trip, I felt so free. Nobody stared. Nobody really cared how you looked, or at least they didn't show it. But over the years, I lived in different countries and it influenced me. Malaysia, Thailand, Vietnam, and dressing up kind of became impractical. Too much effort for traveling, and maybe, I don't know, I'm too old, I'm too professional. And I started to look like I was living undercover. But somewhere in there, I thought I had just given up on myself. It's over. And then 2024, I am back in Japan, in Kumamoto, a mid-sized normal city with normal people, not the cool, popular ones. And I'm in my 30s. One night, I am walking to a secondhand store on the edge of town because in those stores, on the outskirts, there are always the best figures and trading cards. And very randomly, this thought hits me. Whose rules am I actually following when I dress up and put on makeup? Why do I really care if it makes me prettier? Because even if all my life I was dressing colorful, I was still playing by the rules. And you know all these rules without ever needing to learn them.
Make your eyes look bigger, highlight your cheekbones, your nose must be slim, accentuate your waist, hide your thighs, maybe wear some heels when your legs are short, look max, glow up, optimize everything you have.
And after this one night in Japan, I tried to stop following those rules. Just for fun, I imagined my face as a canvas. I used makeup like a child playing with colors. I put on freckles in neon colors, or I put different earrings that didn't match. I put scrunchies in my hair. I didn't use mascara and my eyes looked kind of small. I just played. And then I started going out, just looking how I wanted. Japan is a safe place for trying that experiment. Not focusing on, does this make me look better? But focusing on, how can I decorate this piece of meat that I have been given? I want to keep it healthy and fit. I want to keep it beautiful and fun. Now I see makeup, fashion, and all that jazz as decorating my body. I appreciate and decorate. I don't glow up. I don't look max up. I only decorate for my gaze. And funny enough, some weeks ago, someone left a comment on one of my videos. Not gonna lie, I almost couldn't take you seriously given how you look, but there were some good insights there. For a second, it stung because I'm still human, right? But then I thought, how do you have to look to be taken seriously? Because looking at the state of the world right now and throughout most of history, those who are destroying the world are the ones that look most seriously, be it a uniform or a suit. I've never seen a politician in a Leo tank top and neon baggies destroy a city. And now, when I catch myself being pulled in this anti-aging trap in social media, how to stay youthful, what is appropriate for your age, I have a countermeasure that I really want to share with you. Instead of looking up beauty clinics that are everywhere here in Vietnam, I look up men and women in their 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s who love and enjoy their life and how they look, who decorate themselves, no matter the age, no matter the judgment, just because they enjoy that they are alive. Those are my role models. They don't follow this rule book anymore. And they look more alive than anyone in their 20s glowing up to look textbook pretty. So here is what took me 35 years to understand. I was rehearsing my whole life. I was rehearsing. I was following a rule book of what is realistic, what is convenient, what is appropriate, and what is acceptable. And I kept telling myself, this is just for now. The real thing will start later. It will become fun in the end. And here is what I wish someone had told me when I was 20 and sitting in a lecture hall studying for a career that I didn't really want. Life has no dress rehearsal. There is no audition. You don't get to practice being yourself and then do it for real later. This is the performance. I'm not saying to throw everything away and just follow your passion and all will work out. I don't know if it will work out for you, but I do know what happens if you don't do it. Because failure is not the worst thing that can happen. Regret is a far worse prison than failure. Most people are living a kind of draft version of their lives. Not yet, not you, not like that. So please look at your life, not what you are planning to do, but the one you are living right now. Is it yours or is it a rehearsal? If you are still watching this and you found just one invisible rule that you recognize, that's good for now. That's where it starts, with the recognition. And maybe share in the comments what resonated with you so that others can see themselves in your experience. And if this video helped with that and you found value, please like and subscribe. This channel is for people who are done practicing and who have the courage to go on stage. And I could use you here. And if you're now feeling this tingling feeling, yes, I want to start it. I want to, but I'm kind of scared. Then please go into that video because that is exactly the one for you. And I'll see you there.